From the island, St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for December 18th, 2025. President of Parliament Sarah Westcott Williams informs the general public, as well as confirms with the members of Parliament of St. Martin, that we have received 2 motions from the country of Curaçao. These motions were taken unanimously on the 16th of this month, and they regard the matter of safety and security in the area of Curaçao and beyond, of course, which, as we all know, in some cases, there are some serious matters taking place there, and thus in the motions by the Parliament of Curaçao, there are 2 motions, one in which the Kingdom Government and the Kingdom Ministers. Sarah Westcott expounded at the House of Parliament on December 18, 2025.
Inform the general public as well as confirm with the members of Parliament of St. Martin that we have received 2 motions from the country of Curaçao. These motions were taken unanimously on the 16th of this month, and it regards the matter of safety and security in the area of Curaçao and beyond, of course, which, as we all know, is there's some serious matters taking place there, and thus in the motions by the Parliament of Curaçao, there are 2 motions, one in which the Kingdom Government and the Kingdom Ministers in particular are being asked to please respond to what is happening in the area of Curaçao, Aruba, and the continent out of South America. The motions have been shared with the members of Parliament, and the next motion regards a call on the Prime Minister of Curaçao also to act on this particular situation. We were asked, our secretariat was asked to share these motions urgently with the members of Parliament. However, the official submission or notification to the Parliament of St. Martin has not yet taken place. All of the instances, the relevant instances, are copied in this motion, which we have seen from the copies that we have received. And upon receipt of the official notification to the Parliament of St. Martin, of course, the Parliament of St. Martin will respond by starting to acknowledge that we have received. And by this, I wish to let the Parliament, the entire Parliament of Curaçao, know that we have received their motions and we understand their concern regarding what is taking place, which seems to be escalating on a daily basis. So I just wanted to inform the members who might not yet have taken note of those motions that they are in your email.
More from Willemstad. Prime Minister Gilmar Pisas and the government of Curaçao say they are closely monitoring developments related to air traffic safety in the region and remain in continuous contact with partners within the Kingdom of the Netherlands and internationally. In recent days, several incidents involving civilian and military aircraft have occurred in Curaçao's airspace. Prime Minister Pisas stressed that these incidents are being taken very seriously, particularly in light of the potential risks to aviation safety. Following direct contact with the United States Consul General in Curaçao, the Prime Minister received confirmation that multiple U.S. government agencies, including the U.S. Department of State, U.S. Southern Command, and the Federal Aviation Administration, Member of Parliament, directed to the Minister Grisha Heiliger Martin regarding the reconstruction of the Philipsburg Marketplace at the House of Parliament.
Final question, what exactly changed between August 2025 when you announced completion and what happened in the 6 to 8 months now? Please explain the shift in the goalposts. Through you, Madam Chair Lady, when I announced in August that the completion was expected within 6 to 8 months, that projection was based on the design and cost framework available at the time. Since then, adjustments were made to the roof design to incorporate a polycarbonate structure that improves natural light and comfort within the marketplace. The contractor required additional time to obtain the finalized quotation from the manufacturers for this specialized roof system, and that process took longer than anticipated. These adjustments were made in consultation with our partners to ensure that the market meets international standards, provides both vendors and visitors with a high quality of life experience. And then this refinement of the design has strengthened the projects by aligning it with the expectation of cruise visitors who represented the majority of the shoppers, so improving daily working conditions for vendors. The shift in timeline was a result of the time needed to secure accurate pricing and ensure that the design meets these enhanced standards. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. I hope.
So again, I can assume then that all the discussions about the permit being approved or the start and the commencement or even the activity of the excavator a couple of months ago was all in vain, because if no design is officially approved, what are they busy with exactly? Secondly, through you, Madam Chair, there's a constant talk about the project being firmly on track. But how can it be firmly on track if things that are planned are not being executed? Can I get some clarity on that point? Lastly, there was a point where the minister mentioned that the bill of quantities is currently being reviewed by the contractor to see if the contractor agreed. Madam Chair, for the umpteenth time, I want to make this very clear. A bid already took place years ago. A company won the bid. If you change the price, if you change the design, if you change anything, it could be a screw, that it costs a guilder more or a guilder less, there is need for a new tender. Will the minister proceed without putting this back on tender and basically disadvantage every other contractor that will be interested in participating in this project? The Minister of Rummy sat here almost a year ago and mentioned anytime the bill of quantities change, it needs to go on tender again. So through you, Madam Chair, those are my points, and I look forward to clarity.
Questions posed by MP Durant, through you, Madam Chair Lady. The contract was already awarded under the FIDIC Yellow Book as design and build project. Within that framework, variations to the designs are permitted. And I think I've stated this many, many times in the floor of Parliament. So the changes was therefore handled as contractual variations, not as new tender. And then the major consuming delay has been the contractor's process of securing the quotation from manufacturers for the specialized roofing system that forms part of the revised design. Obtaining price for the structure proved more challenging than expected, but it was a necessary step to ensure that the marketplace meets the required standards for durability and user and visual comfort. So the quotation was now been reviewed and included in the overall bill of quantities, which is now currently under review.
Just two questions. Minister, can you, via you, Madam Chair, can the Minister share with us how much percent from 0 to 100 has already been paid to the contractor for said project? And also, if I understood the Minister, via you, Madam Chair, alluded to a timeline that was given, but she meant, the Minister meant more process-wise and not construction-wise. I'm confused because here I have an article from the August 19th where the Minister states Phillipsburg Marketplace to be completed in 6 to 8 months. Madam Chair, that was 4 months ago. So can the Minister explain if that timeline is still on schedule, or is it firmly on track, or do we have any more delays that we don't know about as yet?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on the Minister's answers, I have the official FIDIC Yellow Book rules here, and it specifically mentions that non-material changes cannot be made, right? So, and the Minister of Rummy also said the same. So I really want clarity on the FIDIC rule book, the Yellow Book, and the Minister's decisions. It says clearly, non-material changes, so minor technical adjustments, small quantities, but they have to be predefined. The margin also of that, but the government hasn't provided, or any administrative errors. This is not the case in this particular case. And it says specifically because you want to keep things fair and equal for all bidders, you want transparency and fair competition, which we are stressing on all the time. So again, can the minister please clearly define in this process, because once you change the bill of quantities, that means you're changing the material orders. It cannot have both. Thank you.
Minister, you
Yes,
ready?
thank
Okay.
you.
Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. The question posed by MP York, yes, a deposit of 467,000 guilders approximately was paid to the contractor. Part of the amount was used for contractual works, and a significant portion went into additional works requested by VROMI. And just over 200,000 guilders remains as credit with the contractor towards the continuation of construction, largely already committed to the suppliers and for materials. And then the question, when I announced in August that the completion was expected within 6 to 8 months, that projection was based on the design and the cost framework available at the time. So since then, adjustments were made to the roof design to incorporate a polycarbonate structure, and that improves the natural lighting and comfort within the marketplace. And the contractor was required, the contractor then required additional time to obtain the finalization quotation from the manufacturer for the specialized roof system. And that process took longer than anticipated. That was exactly the hold-up. And regarding the question from, and then the question regarding the question from MP Atwell Arian is mainly, he's highlighting, through you, Madam Chair, the MP is highlighting specifics in the FIDIC book. I'll have to bring that one in writing to explain why the FIDIC Yellow Book does not prohibit material changes. It actually explicitly allows the variations to work to the works or the employee's requirements. That's the max I can say for now, but I'll give a better answer to that to the minister, to the MP in writing.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
Willemstad, Curaçao police carried out renewed enforcement operations this week as part of the year-end campaign Fin de Año Sin Zanzanya, resulting in the arrest of 3 individuals and the seizure of vehicles, weapons, and drugs. The intensified checks are being conducted in the lead-up to the end of the year and focus on street patrols and traffic controls across the island. According to police, the aim of the operation is to prevent crime and maintain public order during the busy holiday period. During the operation, a 35-year-old man born in China was arrested on Noordzeestraat for possession of drugs. In a separate incident on Kaya Chiromi, another 35-year-old man born in Curaçao was also taken into custody for drug possession. PM Omar Otley on the register as up to date due to whether the father of the parent or indeed the employer. Undocumented young people have a disadvantaged situation, and an adverse effect will be noticeable for the rest of their lives if not rectified. Of course, the proposed amendment strengthens the position of the child concerning obtaining a legally valid resident status and contributes towards improving the socio-economic positions of undocumented children born in Sint Maarten, as presented to the Member of Parliament on December 16, 2025.
The proposed amendment strengthens the position of the child with regard to obtaining legally valid resident status and contributes towards improving socio-economic positions of undocumented children born in St. Maarten. The underlying goal is to ensure that the legal social advantage position for undocumented children born in St. Maarten is provided. I'd like to present to you some real-life examples. Meet Jean. Jean was born in St. Maarten. Parents, Jamaican nationality, and have worked on St. Maarten for 15 years. Employer have repeatedly missed years in work permit process, resulting in residency gaps and moments of being undocumented. Parents never arranged for Jean, however you may look at the name, for Jamaican passport. Child has no affinity to Jamaica and sings "Oh Sweet St. Maarten Land" with pride. Jean is now 16 and at this age still undocumented. However, though he's 16, born in St. Maarten, because of those situations right there, the previous law don't allow, because it says consecutively. Due to the humanitarian basis applied, the minister then would take this situation into consideration. However, it is left up to the discretion of the minister. Meet Amber, and these are real-life situations. Some people just ask me not to use their name. Amber is 18 years old, born in St. Maarten, mother and father Haitian, went to school in St. Maarten since birth, has gaps in her residency, which is tied to her mother up until 18 years old. Only has 2 consecutive valid permits. Parents never applied for her Haitian rights. She is now in the process of being naturalized to get passport to be able to join her friends who are graduating and moving to the Netherlands. Unfortunately, due to lack of legal attendance of 5 consecutive years, Amber is advised to wait 3 additional years to start the naturalization process to becoming the process to apply for the passport. This is also John. John is 9 years old, born in St. Maarten. Parents are from St. Lucia and work in St. Maarten, 15 years undocumented. It is St. Maarten Day in school. John is also being teased by his classmate for not being from St. Maarten legally. This is one that some may know, a dear friend of mine. At 15 years old, Shamar Bertram, he represents St. Maarten. He fights for St. Maarten, and he not only had opportunities from trainers who trained Muhammad Ali, and also once Floyd Mayweather visited St. Maarten, during a good conversation with him and the coach, was invited to his training camp in Las Vegas, was unable to go. Now here he's behind a St. Maarten flag. It wasn't until I called him Bounce, but Shamar went through many different issues. He then had no choice. His parents went and applied for a Jamaican passport. And because then he got this Jamaican passport, he was then able to travel to Guyana to represent St. Maarten on a Jamaican passport. The solution, proposed solution then, grant automatic admissions by operation of law for all children born in St. Martin once their parents have been contributing to their tax obligation for 10 consecutive years or more, which offers a sustainable right in protecting the child and a friendly solution to improve the legal position. The reality is, I gave examples where parents are working, contributing to the tax system. However, these kids are born and parents are here for 15, 20, 30 years. There are a lot of us in here who have, whether foreign mechanics, hairdressers, however it may be, and know them for many years, and those are the persons that we trust. We do not want to open the floodgates where you think you can come here 7 months, 8 months, 6 months pregnant to make a child. So we are putting obligations in place. And for me, if you have been here more than 10 years contributing to our tax system, legally, no trouble, you are here to stay. In addition to changing the age limit from 16 to 10 years, improved development stability prevents future exclusion from the possibility of further study abroad. Why? If a person receives their residency, you have your chance to receive your, of course, St. Martin can only offer our residency, not our citizenship, to get your passport. After 5 consecutive years, you'll be eligible. What happens is we realize that after 16, 5 years later, you're 21. Most graduating ages are between 16, 17, 18. However, one of the reasons for moving this to 10, as you will see in the next slide, is to remain uniform with Aruba. We are also in discussions with Curacao, who is looking into the amendment, and we are looking to create a uniform standard law under the kingdom. So here we have the original. It says, persons born in St. Martin who do not possess a Dutch nationality, provided they have reached the age of 16 and have been continuously admitted in St. Martin. The proposed I have here is persons born in St. Martin who do not possess the Dutch nationality, provided that they have reached the age of 10 and had lived in St. Martin since birth.
Your social and health insurances. Your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
Haiti is facing a perfect storm of suffering, driven by relentless armed, the collapse of basic services, and a rapidly deteriorating humanitarian situation. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned during a briefing to the UN Security Council. Guterres said civilians are under siege as gang engulfs Port-au-Prince and continues to spread, paralyzing daily life and forcing an estimated 1.3 million people to flee their homes. Schools and hospitals have come under repeated attack, widespread, and state authority has eroded, leaving large parts of the country beyond effective government control. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew has laid out major 2026 spending plans across St. Kitts and Nevis, including large allocations for education, healthcare, national security, and public infrastructure, while also spotlighting projects tied to renewable energy, digital government, tourism, and agriculture. Drew presented a $1.074 billion budget in Parliament on December 16 for the 2026 fiscal year and described the plan as people-centered, saying it focuses on jobs, investing in people, strengthening housing, and improving healthcare. Education spending rises 14.8%. In the education sector, the government proposed a $108 million in recurrent expenditure and a $14.8 million in capital spending, totaling $122.8 million, a 14.8% increase compared to 2025.